the other. We spend our profound creative energy, positivity, by hating other, rather loving each other. Diversity is a space where we want to spread the principles of love as a primary marker. We don't want you to hate just because the person is coming from certain understanding. We want you to understand the person. We want to foster that space. And therefore, India for Diversity is nothing but an incubator. It's a space which is safe. We want every one of us to come in that space, bring your own baggage, bring your own thinking, and at least start dialoguing with each other. Ask the person what it means to be a Brahmin in this society. Ask the person what it means to be a Kotawala in this society. Ask the person what it means to be a female in a patriarchal society. Ask an LGBTIQ person what it means to be living in a heteronormative society. We want this dialogue to happen. I was with the third gender people in Nanded, with the community, and when you hear their stories, your heart wrenches, you want to cry, because they are not treated fairly. They don't have houses to live, they don't get food to eat. Their life is degraded to the level of begging. The third gender people in India are reduced to begging. And even when they are begging with profound humiliations. Nobody is willing to talk to them on a human level. We want to talk to them on the level of the identities they present upon you. It's not their fault, it's your fault the way you accept them. And we want to go and pronounce ourselves as a country that welcomes everybody. We are not a country that is tolerant of other people. A person with different hairstyle, a person with different speaking style, a person even with a different accent is considered as different. The uniqueness of your identity, of who you are, is not appreciated in this setup. What we want to do instead is, we want to hegemonize this by homogenizing this. Meaning, we want to homogenize everybody, use this as a category to hegemonize upon the other vulnerable, weaker sections of society. And we know enough that we are not qualified to be a homogeneous entity because we have profound differences. The stuff with caste, class, gender, age, language, ethnicity, and you name it. But still, we are rushing because we want to make sure our insecure selves are protected in this discriminatory society. When we will come in the space of India for Diversity, we just want us to think collectively, not only for each other, but for the others who can't speak. We want to talk about environment. We want to talk about the ill effects of neoliberalism, the ideological issues that are happening across the world. We cannot talk today as a nation because the people who are identifying themselves as upper middle class, middle caste, Hindus, are overrepresented. And therefore, the Indian discourse is not a wholesome discourse. We want this space for every one of us to sit at least once and talk to learn, not to declare. Right now, we declare other person as to what he or she thinks. We judgmentalize every aspect of that person's life. And therefore, when we want to work for these issues of diversity, we want the people who are working in social movements to also shed their own prejudices, their own casteist and class sensibilities. We want the Dalit community to overcome their own casteist nature, that they might be pronouncing upon the other non-caste folks. The people, we have sub-caste divisions, don't we? And we affiliate only according to the sub-caste divisions, don't we? We pronounce ourselves as Ambedkarites, yet we seek a sub-caste category person to marry. We are unwilling to go off casteist sensibilities, and yet we want to fight for caste-free society. We want to annihilate caste, yet harbor casteist sensibilities. Similarly, people who want to fight the class war are ones who are inheriting the feudalist sensibilities and want to tell how to fight the class war. Similarly, the people who are fighting for feminism are people who are harboring heteronormative society. They are used to having the heteronormative privileges, and they want to marginalize the people with homosexual sensibilities. The trans folks, the transgender folks. What we are doing here is we are privileging our suffering over others. No, we want to understand our sufferings. My sufferings might be different than yours. Your suffering might be different from yours. But that's the common point. And in this, we might be able to understand. Perhaps it's not you and me. Perhaps it's the system that we're operating into is something that is making us such a divided space. Next slide, please. Why is diversity important? I mean, it's beneficial to all of us. We all know if a student or if your classmate or if your friend is from different category, you learn new things. It's simple. If you come, or if you have a friend who is from the same caste, which is not bad, true, because that's how society has managed to efface itself. But what happens is once you graduate or once you live your life, you don't come out with rich experiences. You are just confined to that. That class, caste, kind of sensible networks, and you just go on declaring that you know about the world. The people who are not having diverse experiences reproduces atrocities. Atrocities of various forms. These are the people who have very little coverage to understand the broader social dynamics. These people only can think and more or less sympathize. They cannot get under the skin. How can we do that? We could do that perhaps by incorporating the people within the fold. Let us learn from each other. Of course, diversity will help us to develop higher morale. Because now you know what a Brahmin friend thinks, what a Muslim friend thinks, what a Buddhist friend thinks. What a person from different castes that you have never had access, your parents never had access to, thinks about it. Maybe it's an occasion for you to talk. Of course, we are not expecting an immediate utopia the next day. This is an effort. This is an effort to start talking to each other. Diversity, of course, brings new and diverse perspectives, but of course, we want to make it truly global. Not seem, when we talk about global, we compare local and global and just say, we are global. No, global in truest sense means globalizing, means having the hetero experiences, the heterogeneous experiences as part of our experience. Global means that. It is not a confinement to certain geographical model of globalism. Of course, and this is a very important point, we believe diversity should be voluntary. We don't want to enforce diversity because, as I said, if it's imposed heavily and the society is unwilling to accept, we are failing the project. And that's why it's a process of healing. It's a process of talking. Right now, we are a community which is wounded. Community, not only community as a certain caste community, but community as a community of nations. We are terribly wounded because we are fighting against each other. And because of this wars that we have on every day, we go on social media, or also in physical presence, or also the psychological warfare we have every day in our workspaces, or in our classrooms, or anywhere, we have become wounded because we are fighting. And in this process, very little moment is given for us to sit and apply a healing balm. We are not satisfying the need of our soul. We want to heal the community because we know we are all wounded, and the process of healing has to be mutual. And therefore, the space of diversity-like concept is for us to start healing. Because once we heal with common understanding, we believe there is a perhaps possibility for us to think at least. Right now, we are acting and thinking then. We want to, for us, think first and act eventually. Next slide, please. So what do we want to do? We believe that this should be a student-centric mobilization. Of course, not limited to, but students is something I personally believe in. The student mobilization, their profound creativity, their courage, the valor that the students carry is something which we can invest our time into. And students are someone who are eventually going to take this project in their lifetime. We want to make it a student-based program. So we want students to talk about diversity to their friends, to their colleagues, to their professors, to their teachers, to their parents, to their colleagues, to whoever they can. We want them to lead this 21st century movement. It's their movement. You have to take responsibilities of yourself. We want to able to provide that space to this younger generation and let them decide what would they like to think for themselves. Because it is the same youth which is used as pawns in the venomous fights that we are having every day. Youth are playing this disastrous role. We want to instead use that same energetic youth to make a positive contribution in society. And therefore, we are centered for students. Next slide. Of course, this is what we said. We want to create a safe space for all of us. IFD, which is India for Diversity, is entirely dedicated to understanding each other to initiate a dialogue. We want to involve everybody in this quest because we believe in the firmness of everybody as beautifully different and yet the same. It is a process movement. It's a process movement. We are always in the process. And that's why the process is beautiful because it's not finished. It's always evolving. When we are willing to understand each other's differences and committed to developing a collective humanity based on compassion, humility, love, and care. For us, diversity is representation of our ancestral gifts that they have bequeathed upon us. It's this very phenomenon of compassion, humility, love, and care has kept us as a community alive. Without this, in absence